So I'm going to try this again. I'll just ask you the same question. Maybe you can answer it. Did Jesus Christ embody as a man or a woman?
Jesus Christ?
Yeah.
He embodied as a man and came to tell us that all of us have the same power as him. And I'm embodying Christ consciousness now as a woman.
How come he didn't embody as a woman?
Because he just answered that particular call and he happened to have a penis born to him. I have a vagina and I have the same call.
He could have been either. He just happened, God just happened to
I
only
believe
pick the male
because
form.
of the nature of the time.
There was no actual messaging behind that.
It was very dangerous for women to live back
then.
then. It was very dangerous for women to live back then.
I have a question.
Go ahead. Yeah, okay. Well, hang on.
Wait,
I just want to make sure that we're clear on this. Very quickly. You think that Christ embodied as a man just because it was fun? It was funsies for him?
No, because it was the safest way for a person with that gifting.
It was the safest way.
It was, because if he was a woman, he wouldn't have made it past 12.
Answer 2 plus 2, please shut the fuck up.
This is wild. I've never heard any. I mean, this is. You don't even have a grounding epistemology for this. So what is your actual epistemology for church doctrine?
Who are you to ask?
You don't even know what I just said. Like, I don't. You don't even know what I just said. What is your epistemology for church doctrine?
Do you know what Jesus came to promote?
Okay, let's stop.
I can't wait to hear what he came. What did he come to promote?
I asked you. What do you believe Jesus came here to promote?
Christ came to give us a church. He said so himself.
Christ said
came to give us a church.
The body is the church. The body. The body is the church.
I'm sorry, what now?
The body. The body
what?
Is the church. So therefore, this is the church.
You're making a word concept fallacy because you don't have any grounding epistemology. So you don't really understand what you're talking about. You've heard the term that we make up the body of the church.
Let me ask you something.
A marriage, for instance, is a representation of Christ being the head of that church and you being the body of the church. That's why the man is in the leadership role inside of that union. So if that's the case, then he must have embodied as a man for a reason. So what is your grounding epistemology?
A better question would be...
Do you even know what epistemology means? Can you just start with that? Can you tell me what that means?
I will answer your questions when you answer this question.
Just answer. What does epistemology mean?
I'm not answering your question.
You don't know what it means.
I had a question for you.
You have no idea what it even means.
I need to understand the frame of mind that you're in, so I have to ask you some clarifying questions.
The word
do you
is
agree?
The word.
Yeah. If you don't know what epistemology means, it's not a shot against you. I'll tell you what it means. You just need to be honest and say, Andrew, I don't know what it means, and I'll just tell you.
You just need to be honest and say, I don't want to answer your question, Desiree, because it might bring up something that I don't want to deal with.
I've been sitting here answering them.
So can I ask you a question?
Yeah, but first answer. Do you know what epistemology means or not?
No, I'm not answering unless you're answering my question.
Andrew, just here. Ask your question.
This is just wild. Okay.
Ask your question, then Andrew gets to ask his. He'll answer yours. You'll answer his. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Do you have some sort of problem with seeing yourself as the current embodiment of God?
Yeah.
Okay, what's the problem?
Well, it depends on how you mean embodiment. That's why I'm asking about
So, for example, you said you're in a marriage.
So the example is, I would say that a priest would be an embodiment, as in.
So, but you told me, you said yourself.
Hold on, let them finish.
Trying to answer your question. So, I would see a priest as a representation or an embodiment, I think, in the context you're using it. That's what I would see as an embodiment. Hang on, let me finish the answer. That's what I would see as an embodiment. Now, I just answered your question specifically. Can you tell me what epistemology means?
We'll get right to it.
She has to figure out your frame of mind, Andrew, so she can figure out how much to charge you in order to answer your
question. Totally true.
Now, I just answered your question. Can you tell me what epistemology means?
Epistemology is the study of the epistles.
That was
That's
good
the simplest
try.
way to say it. I mean, you can
Wait,
give me
he's
your
walking
definition,
away.
but this guy told me that a
keep it.
husband and wife is supposed to be the representation of God and the church. He said he's a husband. I asked him if he sees himself as the embodiment of God, and he said no. That doesn't make any sense.
Wait, what is the epistles?
The epistles are the apostles. Are you talking about the
No,
apostles?
what can you, you use the word epistles. What are the epistles?
He said, what is epistemology?
Yeah, no, what are the epistles? You said you
The
used the word
apostles.
epistles.
Right? Are you talking about the apostles? Just say it in common language.
Yeah, Andrew.
Just say you don't know. Just say you don't
Epistemology is
know.
just the study of how we know knowledge.
Okay, well,
That's what it means.
All
It has
right.
nothing to do with epistles. What are you talking about? When I'm asking for your grounding epistemology, I'm asking, where do you get your grounding foundation for the knowledge you know? That's important when we're talking
First
about
of all-
theology, because, hang on, it's important when we're talking about our grounding for theology, that we would call that grounding epistemology.
why are we getting into this? Is
Anyways,
this a
you had
church show?
something. Go ahead, Ashley. Go ahead.
What I was gonna say is I agree with you, Andrew. Like I believe that there are roles that are for in like leadership that are for men, but the way I look at my ministry or what I do is like the woman at the well when she met Jesus and Jesus called her out and basically told her her past, and she had an encounter with Jesus, and then it says in the Bible that she went out and started telling the world like what happened, and she started talking about Jesus, and that's the same framework I'm in. And another, like, let's take away the podcast that I do, which is just sitting down talking to people about their testimony with God. I have a ministry offline where it's just going to go meet the needs of seniors and then showing them the love of God. I mean, to me, why would that only be
Yeah,
for
I
men?
think if you're talking about maybe things like I do Bible study with other girls, or I do kind of outreach or something like that.
outreaches and stuff like
I think that might be different than having a position of church authority, and that's what
Right.
we're talking about when we're
Yeah,
talking
I
about
don't
women
have
in
that.
leadership roles, right? So,
And I
when
agree
we're
with
talking,
that.
hang on. And when we're talking about ministry, I think it depends, because I think that if you have a ministry, it depends on the context. Are you in a church leadership role because you've created your own church? That's where we start to kind of dive into, are you clergy or not, right?
Right. Yeah, no, so I'm submitted under a church, and any of the Bible study content that I get is from the church that are from males.
I do have to move things on. You also wanted to talk about